live in the thing. How are you?
I am so great, and I'm so happy to see everybody, and I'm happy to see you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I have I'm in Pensacola, and Pensacola has been really good to me so far. So I'm stoked to be alive.
Isn't that the name of the Groundhog Day town, Pensacola, or something like that?
No, I forget where
No,
he's in Puxatawny.
Puxatawny. Okay.
Yeah, Pensacola is in Florida.
I was
Puxatawny.
like, I was like, yeah. When is it snowing in Florida?
I don't think it ever snows in Florida. I don't know. It
I
could
don't think it
sometimes
does.
snow in Florida.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
I
It
don't know. Never
could.
been. Yeah, maybe.
I've never had that problem. Maybe there aren't really mountains. Yes, Puxatawny Phil. Yeah, I'm really
Puxatawny
against
Phil.
using those animals for prognosticating, but yeah,
Yeah, called Phil. I love it.
yes, he is called Puxatawny Phil. That's true. That's the one. There's actually all these. He's not the only one. There's lots of groundhogs out there that are prognosticators, but in the movie Groundhog Day, they focus on that one.
Oh, I didn't
Famous
even know. Like honestly, before this movie, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like,
Groundhog Day.
I thought it was fake for the movie that they were like, oh, that's the thing, you know.
Oh.
Well, because I'm not American, that's not a thing we do in Belgium. And
Yeah.
so when I learned that it was, oh, that's a thing they actually do, it's like,
Yeah,
okay.
they do it. Yeah, I went to a Groundhog Day party in Las Vegas once, and they talked about all the different prognosticators. They had a quiz and all sorts of cool stuff.
So there is a Groundhog Day in Vegas. Does it snow in Vegas?
Well, it doesn't have to snow to have Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day
No.
is celebrated all over America, unfortunately, but it's a thing that we learn about as children, and it's a day where we say, okay, it'll be a little bit more spring this year, or winter's
Mm,
starting early. It's a
mm-hmm.
dumb thing that we do, and
It's
it's an abuse of animals.
it's pretty dumb. For everybody who doesn't know Faye, my dog Faye, she's right here with us, and yeah, she's usually sitting on my lap. I don't know why today she wanted to stand. I guess
And
she
she's just
wants to be a
curious.
star. Yeah, she's curious.
She
But
she she wants to be a star. She wants to be a child actor.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're
Well,
gonna. Yeah.
I've been looking a lot about dogs lately and learning about terriers and stuff. So we'll get to that later. But today in Pensacola, so in Pensacola, it's actually really nice. It's a nice town. I went around and I I I I went to a place where the owner of this egg restaurant, it's called Another Broken Egg. It's like a breakfast restaurant. He's like, I believe in your freedom of speech. I fought in the military for 20 years and I am fought for your right, your First Amendment right. And I'm like, thank you.
Nice,
Yeah, and
nice.
he's like, you're protesting against my restaurant, but I recognize your right, and I'm happy for you. Go get them. I'm
I
like,
like that. I like that too. I mean, it's interesting because we want to give everybody the right to speak and express their opinion, but if their opinion is like extremist or racist or whatever, we're also
hmm,
like, yes, not. You know what I
right.
mean? It's like, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a fascinating thing, but it was really interesting. The guy was really supportive. He gave me a cup of coffee. He said, "Go get him, Tiger." And I'm like, "All right,
All right. That's
you're not gonna
well,
like these chicken noises. Here we go."
yeah, that's the thing though. It's like all these people super against vegans, and it's like, really, you're against people just saying we shouldn't kill? Like, what? Why would you be against us? Like, why would you, you
It's a
know?
weird thing to be against the vegans, right? To be like, "Oh, I don't. But today I did some outreach with the camera and like asking people questions. And
Mm-hmm.
people would walk by my chicken truck and they'd see, because the chicken truck says, if this bothers you, go vegan, and it's a bunch of bloody chickens. And a lot of people today, for some reason, more than usual, were like walking by and going, does it bother me? Does it bother me? And I'd be like, well, it only bothers people with consciences. And or I would try it, like, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk to me about it? And they'd run away.
It's
So
interesting because it's like, were people against the hippies? The hippies were kind of saying the same thing we're saying. It's like, please Just don't fight, don't kill, don't like be
Give peace a
nice to each
chance.
other. Huh?
Give peace a chance.
Right? It's like, like that's what we're seeing all the time. And I'm just like, why so much hate? Were people hating on the hippies? I
Yes.
don't know. Were they?
Yes, they were
They
hating. Of
thought they were
course.
I
Yeah,
don't
Ronald Reagan sprayed them with tear gas, and like, people hated the hippies. People hate the when someone asks questions about the status quo. The hippies had the audacity to say that people should be able to vote if they're being sent to war, because people back then could you had to be 21 to vote in America. And so they said, well, if I have to be 18 to go to war, but I have to be 21 to vote, that don't make no sense.
that
And
doesn't
so
make any
and it
sense.
changed. Jackie Boyle.
Hold on. I'm putting the music. Hold on. I'm coming. I'm a bit slow.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you, Jackie. Hey Sky, we didn't put the theme song
Well,
today.
I
What
was gonna say, are you
happened?
ready to start Sunday school? Let's start Sunday school.
Yes.
Vegan Sunday School.
This
This channel's
channel
just for
is for
you.
I like hipster veg heads.
This
You like hipster
channel's
veg head?
just for
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's a funny name. I
I
like
think so
it.
too. Spooky Veg Head, I think is the name. Well, today also we're gonna have Jimmy Aspie and his lovely wife Nikki are gonna be on the show. I think they just came into the green room.
They
They wanted
arrived right after the music.
right
Like,
after the theme song. They came in right on time.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
they want to do the random stupid questions with Fanny.
Oh, I have a bunch of random stupid questions for
You have a bunch
them.
of random stupid questions.
Oh my gosh. Every week I have some. I even asked Jess for questions, and you're going to see. Maybe you're going to recognize which ones came from Jess.
Okay, but I have a question for you before we bring them on. Okay, so the question is, because I did a lot of outreach today. I was out there in the streets. I was talking to people with my microphone and everything. I got hassled by the sheriff. I got
Nice.
a lot of people laughing in my face. A lot of people talking shit about vegans, and um, I was more than okay with that. Like it takes its toll over time, but I was more than okay with that. But I get this kind of let's call it a little bit of an aggressive person in my DM who's a vegan talking
Ah.
trash. So the question of the day is, who's a worse troll?
Oh, someone who is vegan who doesn't like you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I
They don't
don't
like that I don't want to see Pignorant. I don't want to watch Pignorant, so I'm a villain now.
recently I made one comment on this video that has hundreds of thousands of views, and every day since, like for the past 10 days, I have at least 10 comments on that
Mhm.
video, commenting after me, calling me names, whatever. And I just said at some point, I was just like, okay, I've said my piece, I've told you why I thought this was not cool, and I'm not going to engage with you because I'm a nonviolent person. That's a choice. That's a
I'm not. I'm gonna get. Does Fanny Pierre have to smack a bitch? Is that what you're
No,
gonna?
but it's no, but I was like, I'm a non-violent person, so I'm not gonna come and call you names. I'm not. That would be
No,
totally
I
against
just
who I am.
blocked. In fact,
Yeah,
Jimmy
yeah.
Cashby is the one who sent me a thing by this Hormozy guy. Do you know that
No,
Hormozy? Do you know?
I thought you were gonna be like Jimmy was the one sending me the.
No,
I was
yeah, he
like,
was the
what?
one trolling me. Yeah, Jimmy Cashby was trolling me. No, no, no.
No,
No, but he was the one. So I was like, you know what? Because he sent me this thing by Hormozy, who I've got kind of mixed feelings about because he's a carny and all that. But he's got this way of dealing with trolls. And after a while, I was just like, you know what? I tried to have grace. I tried to understand this person was triggered or suffering from mental health. And in the end, I was just like, I just went, you know what? This is harassment. I'm blocking you now. Terribly sorry you feel the way you do.
And we do live in a world where we're all different. We have
Yeah.
all different cultures and backgrounds and ages and all of that. Of course, we're not going to be happy with each other all the time. Like, I even argue with my family and my husband, and I agree. Sometimes I argue with you. Last
Yeah.
week we argued together. It's
Yeah, but
like,
arguing with people who respect each other is a lot different than
yeah,
arguing
that's
with
the
some
thing.
faceless troll on the internet, you know?
That's the
Um,
thing.
yeah. All right. Are you ready for random stupid questions? Is Jimmy and Nikki ready? Are they ready for? Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Yay.
Random stupid questions. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh,
How come you're... Hello, Fanny. Nice to meet you.
Oh, you
nice
guys
to
haven't
meet
met.
you
This is Fanny
too.
Pierre in Los
No.
Angeles. This is
What's
Jimmy
up,
and
Fanny
Nikki
Pierre?
in Brazil.
How come Sky is always connected to the best intro music?
Actually, that music was Jess McKay, because I try to always, you know what, if someone's making awesome dope music, I'm like, hey, what about it? Let's get
Make
together.
more.
I'm
Yeah,
about collaborations.
yeah.
I'm
Jess
with
loves to
ya.
make. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I love
Cool.
the blue-black background.
Oh, thank
It
you. I try
fits
to.
you better than the red.
Oh yeah. The red is only for night, because when I'm cursing and I'm being kind of mean, I like to have the red background so
Yeah,
people
I get
know
the
that.
vibe.
Yeah, you get the vibe, right? Yeah. Yeah.
The
So
sexy
the question
nighttime vibe.
Yeah.
the question for everyone, so who's worse, vegan trolls or carny trolls, I guess, is the question for me. That's like the main question of the day, because I tell you
It's
what, I could deal with
easy.
carny
Very
trolls all
easy.
day. You think the vegan ones? Yeah.
Vegan.
You think they're
Yeah.
worse?
Vegans.
Okay, I think they're better people, but I think they're more annoying trolls.
Yes,
Because
that's right.
it's
Yeah.
like, dude, you know what I'm trying to do. Okay, maybe I'm not perfect, but we're one of the few people in the world trying to help end the animal holocaust. And you're
Yes.
spending your time on criticizing
me!
us, who clearly you out there with your Peter shirt in the
Yes!
pickup truck. You know, like, there's people out there who really need a message of, hey, stop contributing to horrific violence.
Yeah.
Whereas, what's the message to you? Hey, you should watch this documentary, or
Yeah.
like whatever shit. It's like, shut up, bro. I'm busy. I'm out there.
Exactly.
You're totally right. Better people, but also more worse troll. Yeah, totally. And they seemed, and also usually because they're vegan, I'll let them in my DMs. Like, carny trolls don't get in my DMs usually.
I was
Like,
gonna say, who are you letting in your DMs, Sky?
well, like, cause like, if someone might be like, oh yeah, I loved your shit, and I might respond, you know, like, that's how I met James, and I'm like, you know, we DM, we're talking, but imagine if I flipped and I was like, fuck you, Jimmy, and I like started texting him mad shit, like, that'd be crazy. That's what happens. That's what happens.
I would block you, bro. And I've blocked a couple of thousand vegans already. I blocked way more vegans than meat eaters. To further
there
the point,
isn't that. That's me too.
He didn't used to block people.
I don't block anybody for the majority of the years.
But at some point, I said, let's start blocking. Fuck this.
Yeah. Like, why are we giving
Your
these
mental
people
health.
a stage when we know they're full of shit? They're just distracting from the point and just
And they're
negativity.
vegans already.
Yeah, and they're already vegan.
Totally.
So,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
you
What
don't
am I-
like me? Cool. You're already vegan. I don't care what you think.
I don't need to worry about you. Yeah, totally.
You're the last person I'm worried about. Just stay vegan, or then we have a
Yeah.
problem.
I saw that you guys were doing a live painting last night. I didn't know that Nikki painted. Nikki, you're an artist, huh?
Yeah, I'm a new artist.
A new artist.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer. I went to uni and worked some time as a graphic designer, and now I'm starting to be an artist, studying oil painting, and yeah, loving it.
Wow, that's really
wonderful.
cool. Can we
So cool.
can we see one? Do you have one like around you that you would want to show?
Why don't you get the one that you worked on last night?
Yeah, I can show you.
It's just right here.
I made some progress on last night.
Oh, she was doing it last night. Yeah, it was really
I
cool.
love
She was-
it.
Yeah,
They
we
were
just had
doing,
the
like-
idea yesterday, and because she's saying, you know, I'm trying to help her paint more, you know, just encourage getting there, and you know, sometimes it's just a bit hard to get started or whatever. Yeah.
Aw, that's really cute.
Got like a mushroom thing going on. I love it. I
It's
love
not
it.
done yet, but
Work in
almost there.
progress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
so
it.
and then we were like, we should just stream it. It'll be fun, and you know, if you're gonna paint anyway, might as well, you know, paint in front of a crowd and
Yeah, it
answer
was
some
so
vegan
cool.
questions at the same time. So yeah, it was good. We had a good time.
Yeah, James told me I should do my work. I should work out because I work out in these hotel gyms. They're not called gyms; they're fitness centers. I work out in these crappy fitness centers in the
They're not
hotels.
quite gyms.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not quite
Yeah.
gyms. But James said I should live stream it because I'll
Yeah.
stay. I'll
Why
I
stay.
not?
mean, if you're alone anyway, you'll probably work harder. Like that alone is probably
It's
a good
true.
reason to live stream it.
You're
Probably
probably
bust us
right.
more in there. Yeah.
I'm thinking I'll do it. I'll do it on TikTok or something I don't care about. Maybe not on YouTube.
I know Vegan Gains gets paid when he does sit-ups.
Oh
So
yeah,
people
he
pay
does.
him to
He
do
also gets
sit-ups.
paid when he
Hey,
twerks.
you could
I'm
get
not
rich
doing
getting
that.
When he
ripped. No, you don't need to twerk, but hey, if the money's there.
Look, twerk is fine, okay? Twerk is fun.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that I'm going to do the twerking or the sit-ups for money. But on
I'm
TikTok,
actually glad.
Okay, can we have a poll in the comments and see who wants to see Sky twerk? Because
nobody wants to
Yeah.
see.
Where do I
it.
type?
to
No.
me,
Where do I put my vote?
Nobody wants to see that. Trust me.
I just noticed a comment come up. Terry saying vegan trolls. A better word would be infiltrators, and I thought that was well said because that's another thing I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people might be naive to is that whether professional industry, like professional plants, or just
Yeah.
meat eaters with nothing better to do, there's a lot of people online. You can't verify who anybody really is. And so for sure, I already know real life examples of very serious undercover work where people got married to an undercover cop. And then one day they just left.
Oh yeah.
When they had all the information they needed from an animal rights activist. Yeah. In New
oh
Zealand.
my gosh.
That happened in
it was-
the ALF in London as well. That happened a couple times where people
Yeah,
had
so
children with
this
cops.
is legit.
Yeah.
And didn't know. And I don't know what happened in those cases. But in this case, then when the job was done, they were gone.
Yeah,
That
the
was
cop
crazy.
left. And like what's
Just done.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
left him with this like, what? So my husband was not really like the person I thought he was the whole time?
Yeah.
I
Or the
promise
wife, I don't
I'm not an undercover.
Suspicious.
Nikki, you're
Suspicious.
safe. You promised. You promised. What's your badge
Lie
number,
detector
Nikki?
test.
Yeah. I want your badge number now.
But isn't it interesting? I think that the most interesting thing for me and this whole conversation is that a lot of people see every issue in black or white issue or like one side or the other, and a lot of the time they miss the point that there are so many gray areas and you don't have to pick a side. You don't have to be 100% every time. You can be like, well, you know what, like maybe you're thinking like this on this issue and I don't disagree 100% with you. I would not like for example, for me, let's take the abortion thing. That's a big issue here in America. I think women should be responsible of what's happening in their body and have the rights to do whatever they want. But I can understand why someone would be like, well, I don't, I disagree with that. And like,
you can understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
right. And we
For
don't
sure.
have to hate each other. And we don't like, and I think because of the American system where it's always the Republicans against the Democrats, Americans oftentimes think in terms of one or the other.
Yeah,
and it's like,
teams, right?
In Brazil as well, like there is the soccer teams, it's so heavy here. Everybody pick a team, and it's always picking a side. And social media made it even more, like this polarization of or this or that. It's crazy.
We're seeing that all over, but I think the stuff with what we're talking about, I feel like veganism becomes another contest. People are like, well, I'm more of an activist than you are, and you're not doing it the right way. I'm doing it the right way. I hear that type of stuff all day.
Yeah,
and I can't stand
hear it, and it's ridiculous. Nah, it's like you said it last night so well during our stream. Someone said, do you know who it was?
Gary Yoski.
Right. They said Gary Francione is better than Gary Yourofsky. And Nikki said, well, it's not a competition.
Yeah.
It's not a competition.
They both did great things for animal rights. And
each one contributing in some part of the...
Totally right.
And I think, though, one thing to consider is, and I mentioned this to you, Sky, in our DMs, is at least with the people that are being serious and, maybe approaching you with some things, some of them at least are going to just be coming from a place of, I want you to do better, I think I know a way you could, and I'm interested in that because I care about animals. So at least it's not always just like pointless hate or negativity. It's people. Okay, I disagree with you, and maybe someone's being a bit rude about it, but they're probably frustrated by the whole situation and like just want the best for animals. At least that's still a thing with a lot of disagreements within veganism, amongst vegans.
I think that a lot of people just want the joy of being right. Like I remember, okay, so when I was when I was
kind
in
of a different type of person.
Yeah, when I was in the Florida Keys, I participated in a long protest where every night there was this horse circus, and every night we held signs, that said "Go away, don't come in." Horses don't want to be in circuses. Circuses harm animals. All those signs. We protested. People who were in the vegan Facebook group in that area were like, "You need to do things more like Ed Winters," and it's like, look, man, Ed Winters is great. That's not what we're doing today. Right now, we're standing in front of the circus.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
You don't want to be in it. Don't be in it.
This is a different vibe. Like, there's different approaches for different opportunities and people even as well. And I think Ed would definitely agree with that. But
Totally.
He's got it. I think, people like his approach because it takes away the misconception people have that all vegans are angry extremists.
Yeah. He's great, man. I'm not.
I know. Yeah. He's doing his thing, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to yell about shit and show that this shit is extremely important, and like yell some chants at people that get in their head that they think about later.
Yes. If I'm standing in front of a circus, maybe I don't want Ed Winters. I want maybe Joey Carbstrong on the. I want Yorovsky. I want Joey Carbstrong on the megaphone because he's a pretty good megaphone
100%.
guy.
He's good on the megaphone. He's got a way with words, and he's got a good balance of like passion, but it's reasonable. It's not it's not like he doesn't look unhinged. He looks like he's making some reasonable points, and he's passionate, and he doesn't look like he's lost control.
He's firm. He's firm. He's making a point, but he's not losing it. I think when I see activists who are like, "Ow," I'm just like, you're losing your audience. Like nobody wants to see someone who's going nuts over this. You can be firm
at the same time, I think like sometimes you have to show your feelings, because fuck, it's such a horrible reality, and we're just talking like calmly, like if it was humans in the position, we would be fighting much
with the cherry
harder.
on top.
yeah, exactly.
I want to thank Timothy Toyo. Timothy Toyo, he's a vegan. He just came out with a new record. Thank you so much, Timothy.
Sweet. Congrats, Timothy Toyo.
Yeah, here we go. Thank you. I appreciate you. Awesome. Are you guys ready to play the game?
Yes. Did something happen with my sound? No. Is everything okay?
Everything's good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna play a game
let's
with.
play.
Okay. Sorry. So here's the game. You guys, the whole idea is to try to answer the first thing in your head. If they're all random, stupid questions, first thing in your head, first thought, best thought. Okay. You're not gonna be held to this in 20 years.
Yes, it's
what?
stupid.
We're not going to hold you to it in 20 years.
You're not, but the internet will.
Okay, well, what is my favorite movie? No, it's not
stupid question. So nothing is controversial here. Well, last time we thought nothing was controversial, and then everybody talked about Twilight for an hour.
You don't know my haters. I'll make it controversial, I promise you.
No matter what you do, it's going to be controversial. Here we go.
If there's a question that you're like, that's going to be controversial, you don't answer, and we'll answer. And people in the chat, of course, like usual, everybody in the chat, please answer too.
Cool.
Okay. What is your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Oh, I never watched.
True Lies.
True Lies. That's not
Lies.
bad. Yeah. You're fired. You're fired.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky is one.
Rocky?
No,
he wasn't in Rocky.
He was not in Rocky.
I'm terrible.
Why is that your favorite though? Why True Lies?
I know, of course.
Yeah.
The Jamie Lee Curtis dance? Was it the Jamie Lee Curtis dance?
Terminator. Never watch.
good
Never
dance.
watch.
Never watched
Yeah.
Terminator. Really?
Nah.
It's so good.
I don't like violent movies.
Kindergarten
Like
Cop.
I
It's
like to see that so many people think like me, Kindergarten Cop.
well, of
Kindergarten
course.
Cop's
Yeah.
good.
You
It's
like
not the
that one.
Duma. It's not the
Let's
Duma
watch.
toy.
Yeah, no, that's hard to go past. It's a cool movie.
True
Terminator
Lies.
1
He,
was
he he
solid.
launches that guy with the guy falls out of the Harrier and he lands on a missile and then he launches the missile and the missile goes through the building and it blows up the other helicopter.
I like when they drug him. They got him tripping on some truth
Yeah.
serum and he's just like spilling his guts.
Yeah, the sodium whatever, and he's
Yeah.
he's like,
dolls
"Whoa."
and shit.
Yeah, it was great. I thought I
movie.
also love
What about you
that
guys?
she doesn't know that he is a super spy.
It was what we were
Like,
just talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
his wife doesn't know that he's a mad spy. She thinks he's like a carpet
really?
salesman or some shit.
Yeah,
Oh, we need to watch.
he just does sit-ups in the morning. And that's the other thing that I love about that. He just wakes up and does sit-ups in the morning. And he's like, I'm ready to go to work. And it's like
And nobody mentioned the
Good for
movie.
selling carpet.
Yeah.
Nobody mentioned the movie Twins. I
Twins
love
is
that.
great.
I didn't love that one so much, but I think it was because I kept watching it on TV bits and pieces. You know how that was back in the day. You have to like come back in time for the ads before they're over and all that shit. So I don't think I ever actually watched the whole thing in one piece.
I love that one because my favorite part is when Danny DeVito parks in the handicap spot and someone's like, "You're going to get a ticket." And he says, "Do I look normal to you?" It's Danny DeVito. So great.
Danny DeVito, do I look normal to you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Not too much controversy. I love it. All right. Maybe this one is gonna bring us into controversy. I'm Belgian. It's a question that Belgians and maybe Americans are not on the same page with. But what do you prefer, waffles or pancakes?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
Waffles
I think I prefer waffles because they're more of a novelty to me.
Yeah, they are more rare.
Yeah.
It's not a thing in Brazil, so when I have waffle, it's special.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What about you, Sky?
Well, I might have to say, it's funny. Waffles are so good, but I don't have like a waffle iron, so I think I'd probably be the same because you have to have a special device to make waffles. Anybody can make pancakes.
Do you make pancakes since you've been vegan? Did you learn the simple
Of course,
pancake
yeah.
recipe? Yeah. It's quality.
Also, in America, we have this thing called Bisquick, and you can just add
Bisquick?
water and you get pancakes. Yeah, Bisquick. It's vegan, but the recipe calls it. It says it's one of those things like those old school things in America that say add water and 2 eggs. You don't need the 2 eggs. They added the 2 eggs later to make housewives feel like they were doing something.
Yeah.
Giving us something to do.
Right,
That's
it's a true.
horrible at the same time.
Yeah, it was like a true marketing genius stroke. They're like,
Yeah.
these housewives feel guilty about using Bisquick, but if you have them break 2 eggs,
Yes. Yeah. Now they're working.
Yeah. Yeah, I never
So the
understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stupid. Okay, next one. It's a bit more private.
Uh-oh.
So, what
more
is
better
your
than waffles?
more private? I'm sorry. I have to go. I have to go there with
And the
people I
red
meet
team
for the
on
first.
Sky.
So, what is your vegan guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure.
I just love.
Please don't say oysters. If you say fucking oysters, I'm gonna. I'm so sick
Oysters.
of.
Oh,
I'm
you mean like something non-vegan?
Well, is that
no, not non-vegan.
Just like,
okay.
Just like you're vegan, and there's just some part of being vegan that you just love, but it's sort of like you shouldn't maybe really love this so much. I don't know. I try to.
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't love it so much. Like a lot of vegans love.
We
Like
can
how much
sit.
I love watching vegan games debate meat eaters.
Oh, that's a vegan. That's a
or
vegan-
anyone, like anyone that's doing a good job of it. I've watched hundreds of hours of it. I just to
This
see.
is your guilty pleasure?
I think that's my guilty pleasure. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say so. The amount
Debate
of time
bro.
I've spent watching Carnus get wrecked on YouTube by legendary vegans. Yeah, many
I
hours.
think
Sky, Yeah, go for
I
it.
think one of my pleasures is the look on people's face when I tell them the first time I'm vegan,
Ooh.
because they never really go.
Ah,
They don't know how to answer. Some people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's great," but then they don't talk to me anymore the rest
Yeah.
of the day. It's like I like seeing the first impression on people's face.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. Not just the first impression. Hell yeah, that's so fun. But also the process of you waiting for your moment, where you're like,
Mm.
ah, now I can say something about animal rights because they
oh,
talked about
I
their
like that
dog.
one. I like that one. Yeah.
It's so fun. We're
I
in
like
Uber's
that.
just like any minute
Yeah,
now. Blah, blah,
exactly.
blah. Dog, what do you do for work? Well, actually,
We
Yeah.
like, okay, now is the time.
go.
Yeah, it's
Well,
funny.
actually, let me tell you about the torture of all these animals right
Pretty
now.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we were about done talking about the torture. Oh, the ride's over. Have a think about it.
Yeah, the right. Yeah.
And you, Sky, did you tell us what your guilty pleasure
Oh,
is?
I still, it feels. It's funny because when I was young, I was more into like punk rock and stuff, and I liked every once in a while putting on like a punk rock T-shirt or something that was like kind of like, yeah, fuck the man kind of thing. And this shirt, things like this, I still love going outside and having people like
Yeah.
not knowing. Like I still feel like a kid sometimes when that happens. Like I still feel like I'm a little like a teenager still with my fingers
Yeah.
out. Like, oh
Nice.
fuck the
Basically,
mainstream. Like.
pretty much. Pretty much. Like, pretty much fuck all you meat eaters reading this
Mhm.
right now.
Yes, yeah. I kind of still feel that punk rock vibe. That's still
Love it.
kind of
I
rebellious.
like
I like,
Keep it alive, bro.
Yeah,
Keep going
Yeah.
against the grain.
that's exactly it.
and like
Yeah.
James said yesterday in our live, vegans are superior. So
Yes.
That's another guilty
Yeah,
pleasure. The
yeah.
feeling and fact that, yes, we are morally superior.
Yes.
As a matter of fact,
Yes.
no, it's not that we want to be. We prefer if we were equally morally on the same level.
Yeah.
But you guys are dragging the chain there.
I'm also better than a child molester, a wife beater, a mass murderer. I'm just better than all of those people. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
it's not
But
saying a lot.
ideally, it doesn't stay that way though, and so that we can be morally superior and be like, we're better. Ideally, those people evolve and become better themselves. Like we had our own evolution. You had yours like 20 something years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was
19.
10 years for me, 8 years for you. What about you, Fanny?
that I've been vegan.
Yeah.
It's been 9 years since January 1st.
Nice.
January 1st as well. 10 years for me
That's
there.
awesome.
Respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so it's not that we were like born better or something. It's just that we got some information and did the right thing with it and evolved. And but it's, I guess the guilty pleasure part is like, well, it feels good to, it's really more of a personal thing. It's like I feel good that I'm not part of that anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not complicit in the crime.
I'm
It's
not-
also
Yeah.
it's also interesting because I think that one of the, not just for animals but for life in general, one of the biggest thing for people is to be okay to change. And it's like I feel bad for people who don't ever want to change, like they're set in one way, and like because they're not going to be able to access technology, they're not going to be able to access jobs in the future, like being stuck in one way of thinking and thinking that and maybe someday I will realize, you know what, veganism wasn't it, there is even something that I can do better or more or whatever. But for me, it's so important for anyone in life to be able to question themselves and be like, why am I doing this thing? Like, is this so? Even when you're in a relationship, being like, is it still a relationship that suits me? Is my job still something? Because I see so many people in life who feel stuck in a situation that is not healthy for them, that hurts even other people than not just them, and they just feel like powerless over this. And I think it's such a big quality to be able to question yourself and then to have the strength and the courage to take action to change.
Yeah, because
And
people are powerless.
yeah, they're not. And going vegan facilitates more of that because that's such a huge shift in your perspective in life.
Yeah.
You grew up your whole life thinking a certain way about animals, thinking a certain way about, how ethical our society is, and also growing up thinking a certain way about what we need to eat to survive. And so
Yeah.
these are like major belief systems, and then all of a sudden it's all blown into a trillion pieces.
Mhm.
And so you realize, whoa, that was right. I was dead body in front of my face, on my
Mhm.
plate. I didn't even see it. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
it. There was all
Yeah.
these slaughters. I didn't even ever question it really. Or if I questioned, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Like that's even worse. So how lost was I? So then you're like, okay, I could be lost on a lot of shit. What else should I? I should
Totally.
really analyze.
What else? If this
I-
wasn't true, what else isn't true?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
this
Oh, yeah.
is true, what else is true? Like totally. I completely agree. Once you look behind that curtain, it's hard to stop looking. Fanny, what's
Yeah.
your next question?
There's more to see.
Yeah, there's a lot more to see.
Yes, 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 I agree. What can't you live without?
Can't live without Jimmy.
I knew
Yeah.
she was gonna say that.
If she wasn't going to say it, I was going to say that she
I
can't
knew-
live without me. It's against the law. It's against the universal law. I think we also can't live without psytrance.
Yeah, we
Like,
love psytrance
it-
music.
It makes our life so
Yeah.
much better
Uh-huh.
that it would be a major loss
Yeah.
to not have it in our life.
One could say music, right? Music is the food of love, like it's a good thing.
Sorry, you cut out for a second there. What'd you say, bro?
I said music, right? I mean, a lot of people,
Music.
whatever their genre of music, that's hard to live without. I like
Well,
that.
some
Yeah.
people don't love it though, Like I know a lot of people who like music, they listen to it a bit or don't,
Or
don't care
don't
for them.
listen at all.
But we're like,
Really?
All the time.
we
All
wake,
the time.
yeah, but we wake up and then the beat is going until we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much every
We
day.
have some breaks sometimes,
Yeah,
but
but
most
it's
of
rare.
the time, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's so weird, like to go to hairdresser or anywhere public and music is not playing. You go to
Oh,
a
I
store,
totally.
it's silent.
Oh my
It's
God, I totally agree. Yes, when I used to work in restaurants and I was running the front of house, and I'd be so mad at assistant managers. I'd be like, "You can't hear that? It sounds like a fucking library in here. Why isn't the music on?"
Where the
'Cause
vibe
it's like,
at?
Yeah,
yeah, it kills the whole vibe. Like the whole idea is to keep the party going, keep the vibe going. No music, it has to be. I'm constant. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, for me, it's people. Like during the pandemic, I would literally be at my window and be like, "Can I see other people? Are
Oh.
they still alive?" I'm such a people person. I
Yeah.
just love being around other people, and it's
Cool.
just like, yeah, I love seeing other people,
Mm.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So you like people watching, or you're also like very social, you like to meet a lot of new people?
Yeah,
stuff
I
like that?
love, as much as I have anxiety and it scares me and I feel always like anxious to go meet people, I just love it. It's like I have to do it because
Yeah,
otherwise I'd be miserable. So yeah.
Yeah.
it fills up your cup.
It's
Mhm.
important to socialize.
Look at that cat here. Look at Olivia.
Olivia.
There
I'm
you
the cat
go.
factor. I see him now.
Olivia.
What's next?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Okay, so I might know the answer for one or two of you, but I'm still going to ask the question. And please, in the chat, fill us on what you think about that. But what's the most vegan thing you've ever done?
The vegan thing I've ever done.
Most vegan thing you've ever done.
Guys, it's not competition.
What's the most vegan thing
Wait
I've
till you hear
done?
mine.
Jimmy Cashby did a year of vow of silence. I mean, come on, that's
Is
so
that
fucking
the
vegan.
most vegan thing?
I don't feel like you would call that the most vegan thing, It's like
Yeah.
very not really related. I made it related to veganism. So I see where you come from, but it's also more, if I was going to like say it's someone's thing, it's more of like a Buddhist monk thing. You know what I mean? That's how I would say people would connect.
Yeah, I
with it.
get that. Okay.
The most vegan thing, it's like, It's something like you went to sit on a couch and then you saw it was leather and you sat on the floor instead.
Yeah, that's pretty vegan. That's vegan AF. Yeah, for sure.
It's true. Yeah.
Okay.
You sat on the floor instead.
That's the only thing. Yeah, I think it was for me, it was before I was vegan. That's why I know it was a vegan thing because I didn't even know what veganism was. But I was eating a chocolate mousse and then I looked at the ingredient and they said pork gelatin. And I was
Oh,
like, I can't finish this. And my mom was like, really? But you like the taste? Like, what do you care? And I was like, no, like knowing there is pork in my chocolate mousse, like
Yeah.
doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense to me. And I was like, and it was
Mm.
long before, it was probably 10 years before I was vegan. And I'm like, yeah, that was my most vegan thing because I didn't know what
Same.
veganism was. Yeah.
Cool. It
That's
was
so interesting.
yeah, it was like one of the first seeds planted.
Yeah, being like,
foreshadowing.
what the
But
fuck?
you
Like,
would usually eat pigs, but not with chocolate.
No,
yeah.
yeah, not with chocolate. That's too
All
far.
my pigs with eggs, not chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first time that my brain was like, wait, what? Why would we do that? Doesn't make any sense. And I think
Mm.
when I became vegan, that was my whole feeling. It's like, why do people keep doing this? It doesn't make any sense. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, gelatin was one of the first things way before I was vegan. I was like gelatin. When I found out what gelatin was, I was like, no, no. If you see how gelatin's made, how could you possibly eat that? Like marshmallows looked like, and then when they finally came out with vegan marshmallows, I was just like, raw. No, I can't
Still
even.
no.
No. Once I found out, man, I was just, yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, I honestly was not as phased by that, but I was already, once I found out I was already either vegetarian or vegan. But my
Mm.
thought was like, well, I used to eat rib cages for breakfast, so what's the
Yeah,
difference? You know, I kind of felt
fair
like that.
enough.
But yeah, it's now I think about it, it's a filthy horror show.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
put it very nicely.
For sure.
I think one of the most vegan things I ever did was like, and this was really stressful, and maybe this is going to be helpful to some vegans, but the more this is like 2 years ago, you know, I got to a point where I would really go pretty far out of my way to not hurt even ants, you know, like,
Mm.
for example, we're living in Bali, there'd be a lot of ants on the dishes. I needed to do the dishes, but I'm trying to blow them off. There's like so many of them, and I would just leave the dishes for a while, come back, see if there was still any ants, if I could get them off. If there was one ant, I probably wouldn't do the dish, you know? And
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a really intense way to live, you know, trying to avoid harming any insect at all ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was too much. And I started, you know, asking some people who I like respect about animal sentience and things like that. And it got me to the point where I felt like probably the sentience of an ant, you know, based on the complexity of their brain structure and things like that, is very, very low. And, you know, if they're sentient at all. And so it's not something that we should really concern ourselves with to the point of like stressing ourselves out and going out of our way to avoid harming even insects.
Yeah.
That was the conclusion I got to, and it took a lot of stress off. To be honest, like I felt like I kind of just go back to living a normal, practical life. But
Well, the
you
difference
know,
between having an animal in your kitchen and using an animal, right? You're not going to breed those ants and then and then sell those ants and use them as little ant slaves. Like, I think
like
that's
with silk, you know, the silk industry does
right. Exactly. Let's get
Super.
these animals to make something for us.
Uh-huh.
What's in it for me? How could I use these guys now that they're here? You know, like that to me is the real crime that we see people.
It's also like if you had how do you call them, lice in your hair, you wouldn't keep them alive just because, you know, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's
that's self-defense. So it's on the same page though, because you could see it as property invasion. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, you use a very similar argument to self-defense. It basically is
yeah.
that. But I think also, I think the thing that took my stress away the most though was becoming more understanding of the actual sentience level of an insect like an ant, and feeling like Well, there's a certain level of quality of life that we should definitely consider, and give rights to and things like that. But is an ant there? From
Olivia.
Olivia's there. She's meditating.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
she
it
seems
was hard
sentient.
yeah, it was something that, yeah, you can get there if you start thinking about veganism so much, and not wanting to harm any being and not being a hypocrite. It can take you to like a pretty hard place to live. So you got to have some sort of practicality about it.
Because the only way to really do no harm is to kind of kill yourself. You know what I mean? So you don't hurt anybody, but that's not an option. And also then you would hurt yourself. Then you're still hurting someone. It's like it's like when people who do the crop theory and they're like, "Oh, but when you farm fruit and vegetables, you also kill a bunch of animals." Maybe, like, I'm sure some of them die, but it's also like, then what? Then I should die? Is this what you're? It's like you try to do your best, but 100% doesn't exist. It's just not
Exactly.
possible. It's just
And
not
that's why
possible.
I still go back to like veganism is about not using animals. Don't use animals. It's like all these other things. Like, guess what, guys? I drive a truck. And you know what happens when I drive like 5-6 hours on that truck? I have to wash it. You know why?
Yes.
Yes,
Full of little beings.
full of little beings that for some reason their wildlife and my wildlife interacted, and they ended up on the wrong side of that. And that's not something that I'm stoked about.
Going out of your way to do. No, exactly that as well.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to do it. I'm not trying to make money off the fact that these animals die. I don't use animals. It's simple. I don't believe in this like going out and having this duty to all animals. But anyway, do we have any more questions, Fanny? That was a long one.
Yes, we do. And the next,
One sec. Did you?
Oh.
Yes.
What
Like the
was
most
question
vegan
again?
thing.
What was the most vegan question?
I don't know. I agree with what you said earlier, but I also think that I would never go to a slaughterhouse if it wasn't, to show what the animals are going through.
Yeah.
It was the worst thing I ever done, and the best thing to go there and witness that is just horrific. So yeah.
That was very vegan of you.
Yeah.
To go
Yeah.
to the worst place ever for animals and not yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone to company dinners and been like, "Oh, there's no vegan option. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here."
Nice.
I've done that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
sit. I'll take a glass of wine, please, and I'll just sit here, and that's all I'm doing, and watching all of you assholes eat, because it was a company dinner, and I hadn't like taken the pledge to like not sit down with carnies, but like the bosses would take all the managers out, and they knew I was vegan, and they took us to a steakhouse, and I went, and I even called ahead, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the chef will make something for you," and when they got there, the chef was like, "Fries," and I went, "You know what? Fuck it.
I
I'm
got
just
a
gonna
better
sit."
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go
Watch
hungry.
me be hungry while you
Right,
guys eat.
exactly.
This is how
Right.
stupid you are. You can't even feed me.
Yeah.
We have
You
The
burgers.
superiority feeling again.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This was your job. Your one job was to feed me
Yeah,
when I
just
came
one
into these
meal.
stores.
And it shows me your lack of talent, because if
Yes.
you're not capable of cooking something and you call yourself a chef, like, sorry.
Also,
Once
it breaks all the rules of hospitality. In hospitality, you're supposed to make people, they're supposed to be your guests. You're supposed to be welcome. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I could
And
cook at
on
home.
this note, I'm gonna say thank you to Benji.
Thank you, Ben.
big ching, ching,
Thank you,
ching, ching.
Benji. Thank you so much.
So much.
When
All right,
I traveled around Australia and I was on the cycling portion, so I was going kind of like through the desert, there'd be a random petrol station here or there where you could get some food.
Mm.
And it was pretty rough. I was eating a lot of deep fried wedges. That was usually what was on the menu. And then I went to this one place.
Wait. What is a deep fried wedge?
Oh, like not deep fried. Sorry, I don't mean just fried wedges. Yeah.
Oh, like
So-
like potato wedges?
Yeah.
Oh, like, so French
Like
fries.
French fries, but big chunky.
Oh, we call those steak fries.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Not just-
wedges. Oh yeah,
More
they're
like
like potatoes, but
triangular.
it's
They got a little
looks like
skin
it-
on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looks like a triangle.
I think, I don't know if there's, because
Home
I have a
fries.
vision of steak fries and they're not quite like that, but
Oh no, you're
anyway,
right. They're not. I guess not steak fries. I think we call them home fries. I don't know. Maybe we do call them. I don't know.
yeah,
Got
you
it.
just
Okay.
something like that, I think. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Big chunks
Yeah.
of potato.
Gotcha.
And that's what I was usually eating. But then this one place had rice, veggies, and T-bone. And I was like, oh, I want the veggies and the rice, but not the T-bone. Like, and also I'm voiceless, so I'm being like, this, not this. You know,
Mhm.
not saying it, trying to just
my God.
have this conversation and get on the same page. And I'm saying, instead of the T-bone, just give me more rice and veggies, you know, like I'll have a plate of rice and veggies, right? And so my plate comes and there's rice and then veggies, and then where the T-bone was just this big blank spot. You know? It was so stupid. It was just so silly.
What did you do? Did you have like a whiteboard that you run? How did you
I had my
explain
phone
it?
on me. For the first like couple of months, I went through books writing to people,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started and you know, carefully like saying things by moving my mouth but without the volume,
Yeah.
and body language, or just writing in my phone, because some people are excellent at lip reading and some people are absolutely terrible at
I'm
lip reading.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also a different language for you, so maybe
Different
that's
No,
language would be.
okay, so
Yeah, I noticed when you talked the
Okay.
first
It's
time, you're like,
tomorrow.
what,
you're like
this
telling them to
tomorrow?
say,
Wait, I'm getting
It's
confused.
tomorrow, her birthday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Sorry, I'm answering people because they're being cute, but I didn't want to
no, you said ask me
no worries.
why. When someone asked, when you broke your silence on TV, you were like, and you're trying to tell them to ask me why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the example of it. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to ask me why I mouthed.
Yeah,
And he
exactly.
got
You
it,
mouthed it.
thankfully. He was one of the guys that could read it well.
Yeah, they figured it out. Yeah,
I didn't have
I
to
think
like
I don't think I
repeat
figured
the
out.
mouthing and the body language 5 times and still be nowhere and be like, actually, what I'm trying to say isn't even that important. Let's just forget this
Yeah.
so much.
Fanny, any more questions?
Yes, my last question of the day is gonna be Ninja Turtles or Ghostbusters.
That's a weird one.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
It's a weird.
Ninja Turtles
It's
for
called
sure.
Red.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Ghostbusters.
a huge fan of Ghostbusters, though. It was
I know.
epic. Watched it like 50 times. But
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, I knew every word to every turtle.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah.
That was sick.
It's so weird. I listened to a podcast about Ninja Turtles today, and they were comparing Ninja Turtles and Transformers because
Mm.
Transformers were made toy first, and then
Mm.
and then comic book. They made the toys first, and they're like, we don't have names for these characters. We don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
And they made the comic book. And the other one was like, they made the comic book, and then they tried to sell toys. And in order to sell toys, they had to make the cartoon, and it all became like this. Yeah, it was
Super
pretty
interesting.
fascinating. The
Well, when
toy-
it comes to the toys, the Transformers toys were way better than the
So
Ninja Turtle
crazy.
toys.
Yeah.
I got Ninja Turtle toys once, just each dude figurine.
Mhm.
Right? I had heaps of Transformers. I loved Transformers. Then I got
Yeah.
the dude and or the ninja dudes, and it was the weirdest thing. Right? This is the only time this has ever happened to me, but I felt so sick around them.
Sick
know what-
around the turtles?
Yeah, like I just
What?
yeah, I was like so nauseous. I
On
don't know if I
the
was
mellow.
allergic to something or it was some
Oh.
weird
Oh.
material.
Deadly.
I don't know, but I just felt so bad and I couldn't play with them.
It might have been your aversion to violence because they were Ninja Turtles, and ninjas are violent.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe it has.
Oh, you
Yeah,
used
it's
to be a
deep down.
ninja too.
Yeah, I was a ninja at the time. That's why I liked the turtles. I was so
Yeah.
into ninja.
You at the time you were a ninja.
Totally. I was a black belt when I was young. Like I was the youngest black belt in my karate school ever. When I was 14. So I was very into ninja
Wow.
like for the 7 years previous to that, and probably a little bit before.
Did you ever
Yeah.
use that skill for anything in particular?
Okay, so one time, like everybody at school knew I was a black belt, and I was pretty chill with pretty much everybody. You know, I was friends with everybody, but there was even this group of guys who were a bit more thug vibes.
Mhm.
But some of my closer friends were in that crew, But there was this one guy who just didn't like me. I think because maybe like I had a bit of a thing with one of the girls that he liked. And anyway, he was talking shit one day. We were doing sports selection. So everyone in the year was sitting down. And then when your sport that you wanted to do for the next few months got picked, you get up and stand in the line in front of everybody and give them your note. And that was just how the day was being done. And then when he got up, he was talking a bunch of shit, looking at me, talking shit to the next guy, to the guy next to him. So then I stood up out of the crowd, like, you know.
You like, what kind of shit? You can't. I can throw basketball just as well as you can. Like, what are you talking? Like, what kind of shit goes on sports selection day?
No, it was obviously irrelevant to the sport, but talking shit. And so anyway, then at the end of that day, you know, there was all this talk through the day of like, after this party, we were going to have a fight. And then we're like, why are we fucking waiting for this party in like a month? That's stupid. So then at the end of the day, he was waiting for me at the train station. So I saw him. I just took my bag off straight away and we went to each other and started smashing each other. But obviously karate is a lot of kicks and knee strikes and elbow strikes and fists and lots of things. And people kind of gave me shit about being into karate. So I thought, I'm not going to use karate. I'll just sort of like box the way this dude's boxing. But then I had a skateboarding injury from a week or two prior on my shoulder that basically like kind of got dislocated.
Yeah.
And we're fighting, and then he smacks me in the shoulder real hard, and it just ruined my shoulder instantly. I couldn't use my arm. So then he started firing shots at me, and I started using karate and blocking everything. Yeah, and everyone's laughing and shit because they don't know I'm hurt, so it looks like I'm just being a smartass using one hand.
Yeah, you're like Jet Li in the Matrix. You're like,
I'm doing mad shit. They're like, whoa, because it was also out of nowhere. Yeah, but really, no, I was badly injured, and I was, you know. Anyway, we fought until we were both too exhausted to fight anymore, and then we separated, and he didn't come to school. The next few days, he had this huge black egg on his head and like messed up and shit. And then we had like 6 weeks holidays over Christmas, I think it was. So he had plenty of time to recover and shit. But yeah, that was the only time I've had to use karate out and about like that.
I'm glad it was the only time. I'm really glad.
Well, I'm ready for anything.
Sky, I'm gonna have to go today because I'm hosting a party for my birthday, but I appreciate so much, and I'm so glad thank you. And I'm so glad that I got to meet you, and I hope we get to meet again.
All right, Ninja Turtle.
You've met before, right?
Sorry?
Fanny?
You usually do this. This is a weekly thing you both do together.
Yeah, Fanny's usually on the show.
So you're talking to us. You're saying
yes. So
absolute pleasure.
Yeah, of course.
Have a great day.
Thank you, and you're welcome to join anytime.
Awesome.
Happy birthday, Fanny.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye, Fanny. Well, Fanny Pierre, it's her birthday, so she had to leave early. What are you gonna do? You know, shit.
Damn it! She didn't tell us, give us any warning that she was about to wrap it up with us.
No, she didn't. She's like, that's the last question.
Anyway, peace.
Yeah. That's what they do in Belgium. They call it Belgian goodbye.
Oh, really?
The Belgian dip.
Yeah, the Belgian dip, the Belgian waffle. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because I guess the word waffle is not waffle in Belgian, so I always give her shit about the fact that she can't say waffle. She always says waffle.
Maybe that's how it's meant to be said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I didn't know you were a karate man. I had no idea. I got to be. I think I was the purple belt or something, blue belt or green. I forget how far I got, but I was really into it when I was a kid. I loved it.
Cool, man. Yeah, it was great for many reasons. Like when I really think back, I was a young guy, in front of a massive, like I was started in the juniors, and then I was in the adult class as a kid as I progressed. One of the only kids in the adult class, and before you know it, I'm leading parts of the class sometimes, or sometimes even taking the whole class. And I'm at my oldest, I was 14, in front of 30 adults or something. So I think it was like also
so cute.
I think it was also very good for discipline and
totally
sticking to something long term.
Yeah, I mean, it builds your character, you know. I don't think it's funny because this thing I was listening, we talk about Ninja Turtles, right? And they were talking about how they tried to shut a lot of that shit down because they said that, well, kids are just reenacting the shows, they're not learning how to play. And they're finding now that adults, they'll buy their kids action figures, and the kids today don't know how to play with them. They're like, they don't understand to build a narrative and to like, because you wouldn't
Imagination.
Yeah,
reenact the shows, you would like make up your own shows. That was the
Oh,
whole,
you'd
yeah.
make it up on the fly.
yeah.
Wow,
And you
it's
could,
fascinating.
yeah, and sometimes you just look at them and you'd have stories about these little characters that you're
Go back
making.
and forth for hours talking shit.
Mm.
Yeah, right. There, you got Shredder, and you got the fuck. Yeah, I mean, like maybe
It's
not you. I mean,
going
they were
down.
making non
All day.
You had Megatron, and you had Optimus Prime. If you were
No,
lucky enough to have both.
and me as a girl, it was always like mom and dad and the little kids and
Yeah,
having a tea and cooking. So
yeah.
it's so girly.
You had
Let's
the
get
dolls,
married.
right?
Yeah, the dolls. I
Yeah,
put
I don't
my
think
brother
kids.
to play with the dolls with me.
Ah, that's why I don't like you.
Yeah, just like. But like the kids don't know how to play with those toys like that anymore, and so what
Yeah,
do?
crazy.
They go
Yeah.
straight to this.
There's a lot there, bro. There's a lot to be done on this little
It's
device.
it's insane to think that nowadays like kids are born with the screen, basically.
Yeah.
So crazy. I was thinking about that the other day and tripping out because it's like, what the fuck? It's totally
Mm.
different brain reality, Like,
Yes.
I don't know how is life without this.
And they're not just that they're looking at a screen all day, but they're seeing themselves on their mum's Instagram or some shit.
Yeah.
Or pretty soon they'll have their own. And then you're at school, like, I'm so glad people weren't recording videos all day long while I was going to school.
Me too.
I'm glad I don't have that shit recorded. Like,
Well,
I was
I remember when my first friends on Facebook started having kids, and they were showing like the sonogram picture of the child in the womb, and I'm like, that kid is going to be on social media from now until death.
Yes.
yeah, before they're even born, they're on
Yeah.
Before they're even born, bro.
there. They're on
Insane.
Instagram. That's
Insane.
Yeah.
And virtual reality coming soon,
Yeah.
Já it's already a reality.
Mm-hmm. It's
Oh,
crazy. Well, the
Everybody's
thing,
wearing that thing.
absolutely, and the thing they were saying is that this is like a consumption device, though. Like you're consuming, and you're consuming what the thing is telling you. Whereas when you had action figures, you were producing it. You were the director. You
Yes.
were using your imagination, or dolls, or whatever. Like your tea parties, even the conversations are all in your head, and your everyone has a character. And kids don't know how to do that anymore, and
Mhm.
that kind of scares me, actually.
Yeah,
Like,
this is scary for sure.
100%, bro.
Also, the anxiety, of like, oh, I don't have a screen now. What to do? Before we used to just look at the wall.
Yeah, you just be bored. You're like, I'm bored.
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm bored. I'm gonna stay
be
bored here
bored.
for hours, or I'm gonna call someone and talk on the
Yeah.
phone for hours.
yeah, I can't remember. I haven't been bored in about over a decade.
Yeah,
you haven't been bored.
something to do. Something to scroll.
Yeah, if the least you can just watch a slightly entertaining video, it's more than boredom. But that's not necessarily a good thing, because that time is you're consuming, so you're in consume mode,
Yeah.
not just like imagine mode or
Uh-huh.
contemplate mode.
Yeah.
Or people watching mode, or conversation mode. The thing that I think, like one thing that I remember before, because I had a cell phone, but when iPhones came out when I was in college, and so I was already an adult, going to bars, drinking, having going out before everyone had smartphones. And I remember people talking to strangers like pretty regularly, and now I don't think people talk to strangers like.
Yeah,
'Cause-
even people looking for someone, like now it's Tinder, it's apps. It's not like go there and meet someone in person.
Nikki, I met somebody. They told me that, okay, so I knew somebody. They told me that they got into an Uber, like the Uber share, where there's more than one ride going. Where like you're going to different directions. Somebody gets in and they get in there. You know what I'm saying? It's a carpool or whatever the hell it's called. And
Direction.
and she fancied that guy. And so she was really into him, but she liked him and she was looking at him, but she didn't talk to him the whole time. She's sitting next to him in a car. He gets out of the car. She goes onto the apps trying to find him, but she
Yeah.
doesn't know his name. Doesn't know. She just goes
That's
onto
so
Tinder.
crazy.
You don't deserve him if you couldn't just be like,
Yeah.
hi.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank-
What's
so.
your name? Like,
Yeah. Where you off to? What are you
We
doing?
are in this
How do-
reality, not that dimension of the screen. You
Imagine seeing you here.
know?
yeah. How did you two meet?
Screens.
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 In a way,
No.
Nikki, she saw me on YouTube and she was, watching. She saw my Valve Silence.
Yeah, I
When
was
I-
already a huge fan of him.
Yeah, but you had a
before we met.
dream though. I thought there was a dream.
Well, there was. So I had a dream that, like before I even met Nikki, that I had a dream that I was with my soulmate, and it was like just the funnest time the whole time, and it was perfect. And I woke up and thought about it for days and told people about it and missed this person from my dream. It was just like unforgettable dream. But I didn't think about the dream for many years. And then the day after me and Nikki realized we were gonna be together, like more seriously than just casually dating each other, then I saw her in this light of the sun kind of thing, and that this moment just flashed back to me of that dream I hadn't thought about in 10 years, 15 years, something, maybe more.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I actually really strongly believe that's exactly what happened. It was very trippy. I know it
So
sounds
crazy.
very weird, but anyway, that's that. And then she saw me on YouTube, and when we actually met in person, because she sent me a DM, we were just talking about this last night, that she sent me a DM telling me about a dream she had, that was just like a kind of like a dream that
It was about
Go ahead,
it was
go ahead.
about a pig suffering in the farms. It was a very dark dream. I don't remember what it was, but in the DM I explained to him because I didn't know any vegans at the time. So I'm like, I need to message someone about that, because it was someone that is not vegan is not gonna understand. And I messaged him, and I was completely ignored.
I don't know why I must have.
You were left on red, huh?
Maybe I was playing hard to get.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Anyway, then I just got back to Sydney from somewhere, and Nikki was working at a popular vegan restaurant in Sydney, and I was doing the Cube of Truth in the middle of the city somewhere. And she saw me and freaked out and called her friend and asked what to do. And then I was doing my thing, but then she was, just waited to speak to me, and like I was just blown away already. I was like, oh my God, this girl's so beautiful. And then so sweet and funny,
And she's
cute,
vegan.
smiling, and she's vegan, and we had an amazing chat. And I got she had some time left on a break, so I got her doing some outreach and stuff. And then I visited her at her restaurant to have dinner with some homies, and same night, and then then she came to a party we were at, and that's how we met. So.
That's so cool, man. That's it just goes to show. I tell people all the time, because a part of that story, I love all of it, the dreams, everything. But so many vegans tell me like that it can't make other vegans. I'm like, get into activism. You'll meet. Go do a cube. Yeah, you'll meet all sorts of people. So many men and women are going out and they're doing what they're passionate about. Get involved, and guess what? You'll meet people like.
Yep.
Exactly.
And they're looking like, because they want another vegan. They're ideally not going to date somebody who still thinks it's fine to slaughter animals and eat their bodies. So it's it makes sense. That's like that the people at the activist events are going to be vegan, obviously, all of them.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wonder.
Right. You don't.
What about you and your girlfriend, Sky?
We actually were working at a resort in Dana Point, and she did the boutique. It was like a fancy resort, 5-star hotel, and I was in charge of the lobby. I was the manager, doing all the drinks and everything. And we just walked by each other every day and everything, and started talking. And yeah, I saw her way before she saw me. Now she claims that she saw me the whole time too, right?
Yeah.
But
Oh, okay, beautiful.
yeah,
That's
so it was one of those things where we're like walking by each other every day, and then eventually I went like, so what's your name? How you doing? You know, and I broke the ice, and guess what? You know, it all worked out. And she was already like a lot of people of color, she was dairy free, and because of lactose
Mm.
intolerance and stuff. And
Cool.
so, and I remember before we ever went on a date, I was like, um, she said, "Are you?" I forget how it came up, but it always comes up with me, obviously, you know. And I said,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm." I said, and I even was a little nervous. I was like, well, "I am vegan,"
Sorry
kind of
to tell
thing.
you, I don't
Yeah,
abuse
kind of.
animals.
Yeah, because I thought it was gonna blow it, because it's a deal breaker for me, right? Like,
Mm.
and I was like, "Well, I am vegan." She goes, "Oh, I actually think vegans are kind of like superior." And I went like,
Whoa! Found a girl.
"Yeah." I was like, "All
And
right,
you're in
baby,
love,
let's do
baby.
it." Yeah. And
Put
then
the
she asked
crown.
me, yeah, and so she wasn't vegan at the time, and I said, "Well, like I can't be serious about someone unless they're vegan." And so when we started dating, she went vegan, and she's been vegan ever
That's
since. So
beautiful.
she's
That's
been
how it should
vegan
be.
5 years, I think, a little over 5 years.
Really? I for some
Mhm.
reason I didn't think you'd have been together so long. I don't know why I thought that. Cool. That's awesome,
That's so
bro.
awesome.
It's like a time warp, because the pandemic made everybody, the like time
Yeah.
is different. You know, the last 5 years doesn't seem like 5 years, does it?
It doesn't, but also I don't think it has anything to do with that because I just like kind of met you. So
Yeah, that's true.
I thought maybe I thought for some reason that it was just like fairly new. I don't know if it was because something about your travel, maybe I misunderstood something you said, but no, 5 years is a solid amount of time. That's mad.
Yes, 5 years is a pretty good amount of
That's awesome,
time.
bro.
It
That's
is.
longer
Yeah.
than we've been together.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought you guys. No, I
Years
thought you
ago,
guys have been together way longer.
No.
just over 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Oh,
Married.
that's wonderful. That's
Great.
a solid amount of time. Come on, 4 years
Well, we
is
got married
good.
in the first year we were together.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Karina's actually now my I think she's my longest relationship now. So
Nice.
Cool.
Awesome, bro.
yeah, it's the real
Must
deal, you
be.
know.
There you go. Happy to hear you're in a good one.
You know, it's so rare to find somebody these days, especially now that everyone's on these apps and everything. I think it's so hard for people to meet
Yeah.
other people.
I'm
And
so glad we don't. We always say it's so good we don't have to go through all that dating shit anymore. Ever.
no
Yeah.
shit. And
Nice.
A lot of work.
And it's dangerous. Like
yeah, it's dangerous. And I actually like I didn't like doing it because I just would I seriously, when I moved to Vegas and I was around people, I was around more people than I'll ever be around for the rest of my life. I think there's just constant people, and so I was turned off so frequently by most people because they're so gross and like eating the animals and like behaving poorly because they're in Vegas, and I was just, my experience with humanity just shifted, man, and so when I went home to silence, like because I listen to music all day long at these levels that are so loud, and I'd go
Yeah.
home and I just like stand on my balcony, drink a martini. Back then, I started smoking, smoke a cigarette, and go to bed and like in silence and watch the sunrise.
Rest.
At the end of work every night, I'd see the sunrise over the mountains in Vegas, and
Yeah. Wow. That's one
yeah,
way to live.
yeah. I still want. I'm thinking about moving back to Vegas. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know. You guys,
Why?
man, there's
It's
something nice
vibey.
about
Ah,
Got
yeah.
an energy.
people. There's a lot of vegans there now, and
I've done
there's
activism in Vegas before. Yeah, there was a good crew.
Never been
Yeah.
there before. Never been to the US.
You never been to the U.S.?
Uh,
Oh, you gotta come. Come on, Nikki. Why don't you come down? We could do. You know, we're talking about doing a VOC retreat. Maybe we'll do a
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
do a
yeah.
collaboration.
we kind of scared of the US.
I
Scared of
must
the
admit.
You
U.S.
know?
I
Yeah.
must admit.
The guns.
The
Oh, the
guns.
guns.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Yeah.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, we're in Brazil, so like there's a much higher murder rate here.
I hear
Actually,
they have guns there.
there's guns that are just not ones that you can buy at 7-Eleven
Yeah, yeah.
kind of vibe.
You
Yeah.
can't buy them as
You know what I mean? You can buy them at probably fucking Walmart, maybe. Yeah.
some Walmarts. Yeah,
Some
sometimes.
Walmart. So that's like me going to get some
Really?
groceries, and
That's
there's been
crazy.
fucking guns to buy them.
There's certain states where that still happens, but like in California, we don't do that. Like the Walmarts in California don't sell guns. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't.
Good to
It's
know.
also honestly, man, like I don't know, it just I don't want to talk shit about your country, you know, but
Yeah,
I
I
do.
talk shit about Australia all the time. They got poisonous
Okay,
animals.
so
And
do it. Do it.
Fuck
Do
you,
it.
bro.
Do it.
let's get
Um,
controversial. It's Sunday.
it's I don't know why I feel this, but I just I don't know if I want to say these things really. Like no, it's
Whoa.
not even that. But it's because I'm probably just being ignorant, you know. So
Mm.
I don't really want. I guess I would just say that like, you know, it's a lot of the stories I hear that come from the US make me scared. I hear about school shootings. I hear about
Yeah,
like crazy opioid problems with
yeah,
fentanyl and all that shit and drugs being
yeah,
laced with it. I hear about like a lot of mental health disorder
yeah.
things, I think. And then I just see like this, I don't know,
But
just
also, if you see the news from Brazil, you're like,
yeah.
I'm not going
Brazil,
to
we
this
have seen some
place, you
crazy
Yeah,
know.
or
shit. Every
And he
time I
was,
well,
read about Rio, I'm like, we're not
yeah,
going
he
there.
was very scared to come here
I
in
was
the
scared. I was just like, I
beginning.
don't know about this. I
And
don't
I
speak the
said, no,
language.
it's not like that, you know. Like,
Well,
it's not so bad like that.
I would
well,
only say that like
murder rate disagrees.
Yeah.
the United States is almost as big as all of South America. You know what I mean? So it's like you're totally right. All those things in the United States are huge problems, but each state is like its own country. I mean, California has, I think, 60 million people in it. You know, it's like we have these. Texas is very different from California, and Maine is different from Mississippi. You know, they're just vastly different places, and so like I get that a lot from people who have like maybe traveled a little bit, like you have in the United States. They're like, yeah, but
I never had a
you know what?
problem there, honestly. Like when I was there, I loved it, and I went did a lot of activism, saw a lot of different places, and it was all
Mm,
good. It's really just like how it's portrayed to me through my social media. I just see a
yeah,
lot of like, whoa, man, what's going on over there? That place sort of looks like it's going downhill.
Yeah, but
That's just the vibe
downhill.
I get. That's just the vibe I get from the videos I see. But
They
again,
make
that's like very choreographed
yeah.
and not really a. That's why I didn't want to really mention it. It is ignorant because I know that is
yeah,
a
but that's not
snapshot.
ignorant. That's your impression, and that's okay.
But
Like
it's
to have that.
not ignorant, but it's like it's a clouded judgment, and I'm aware of that. Just like how the media kind of
You're being
manipulate.
manipulated.
Yeah, in some way,
Mm,
like this feeling I
Yeah.
have is probably not very, um, you know, fair.
Accurate.
A fair assessment. Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's hard because when people talk about America, it's just like such a big word and a big place, and it's just a lot. It's kind of like you just can't paint it all with one brush. I would just say it's kind of like
Exactly.
in Europe, it's hard because like you could say that the problems of Germany are not the same problems that you face in France. You know, there's just they're different countries. That's how I kind of think about it. But I understand that completely. I mean, America is kind of a scary place, man. You're not allowed to have.
Dude, so is everywhere. So is
Yeah.
fucking everywhere. Honestly, bro, like, you know, I don't feel extremely safe really anywhere. Anything can fucking happen anywhere,
Yeah.
anytime, basically.
Yeah.
But I guess the feeling is in America, there's more chance that you'll just be next to a dude who all of a sudden pulls his gun out. I don't know.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, so during certain parades and stuff, I'm a little bit more nervous these days than I used to be. Like I was there in Vegas when the big one happened. And when I was at the MLK march in St. Petersburg, Florida, I was like, wow, there's a lot of people here, and it's about Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm a little bit nervous because of racial tensions and violence that might happen because of,
Absolutely.
and of course nothing happened, but I just
Well,
started, I
not of
did,
course, just it didn't that time.
yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest, man, I'm scared when my girlfriend went to go to a Formula One race in Long Beach. After it was over, somebody shot into the crowd,
Yeah.
and
Hear about that shit all the
um,
time.
yeah, that type of
It's
thing.
fucked up. It's scary. Yeah, it feels like everybody got a gun and
But do
everybody
you
about to
hear
use it.
this in Australia?
Well, we don't have guns in Australia.
Yeah, so
What do you mean?
that's the
That's the
difference,
point
you
you're trying to
know?
make. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
guns.
You don't
Yeah.
hear them from Australia. So
Yeah, things happen in Australia, but
Yeah.
look, there's also a lot less people in Australia, like
it's
10
true.
times less.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're
aren't
way
there
more
only like
spread out.
20 million people for the whole country or something like that? Like,
Something like that, yeah.
yeah,
Around
it's
there.
like It's like Canada. Canada's so big, but there's only like 30 million people or something. It's like, and yeah, I think someone just said we have 50 million in California.
I would say another thing that puts me off about the US is I've seen just so much police corruption videos, you know, and
Corruption. Oh, you mean like when they think that
when
you don't
they're
know?
more like when they are abusing their power.
Yeah, that happened to me today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me, bro. I wanted to
Okay, so
actually.
today,
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what happened.
today I was in the middle. So I've been trying to actually. So I have conversations all day with people, but I don't really record them. I don't do like the illustrious, wonderful Joey Carbstrong. Everyone knows I love him, even though I disagree with him sometimes. I still think he's great. That's the disclaimer.
Nice.
Before I say anything about Joey Carbstrong, yeah, I love him. He's wonderful. I
Yeah,
hope he keeps it up. He's great. Um,
Yeah.
but he does a certain thing, like he does his street show that I call like he does his like kind of like a game show, like answer my questions and have these conversations with me, and it's a cool show. I like that show, and I
Yeah.
get to and I react to it and I watch it and I like it better than the debate bro stuff. Like,
Cool.
and sometimes I disagree with the shit he says, and sometimes I love the things he says. Okay, so I have been sorry. So just the backup. So now I have conversations every single day with people, and people are like, well, why aren't you recording your shit? I'm like, okay, fine, I'm fucking recording it. So I've got my mic and I've got my little my fucking my tripod up and everything, and I'm starting to have conversations. And the sheriff, he's like, shut that off. And I'm like,
Wow.
in the middle of a conversation, he goes, shut that off. And I went like, what? And he goes, you can't be here. And I said, no, I'm pretty sure I can be here. And I think I caught this on tape, but he wasn't on the tape. He wouldn't come. He wouldn't come where he could be seen by the camera. But but I'm like, I don't have to. I have the First Amendment right, sir. I have the right to be here. And
And
he's like, well, these people have an event and you're not a vendor. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a political activist and I have the right to freedom of speech and I can be anywhere I want. You got to turn off that truck, turn off this camera, get out of here. And the guy I'm talking, of course, I'm having a conversation with somebody, and now I am in this fucked up situation where I'm like argue with the cop and then look crazy to the person I'm outreaching, or comply with the police officer in order to save face with the person I'm trying to tell about veganism.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
That's
that
so
was.
nice.
I have run-ins with cops almost on the daily, and this was a fucked up one because I went through the thought process of how I'm gonna look to the person I'm outreaching.
instead of the camera and all those people. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Well, to the guy I'm talking to, like I'm wanting to talk to him about vegan. We were having a
Heart to heart, bro.
conversation.
He's a real
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, and so I
Yeah,
said,
damn.
I said, no problem, officer. I'll leave. And so I packed up and I left. I'm like, what ordinance did I miss? Oh no, he couldn't answer anything. I was like, fuck this pig. Sometimes cops, man, and plus the sheriffs around here, they're wearing like full metal jacket, right? They got like full on Kevlar and like the
Really?
clips. Oh yeah, they look like soldiers.
Where are you again?
Today I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I was at Pensacola
Florida.
Beach, and he's in
Yeah,
all
really?
black.
Why'd you go to all that?
That's scary.
Dude, the way a cop looks today looks completely different than the way they look when I was a kid. Like
Yeah.
they have full on bulletproof vests on, all this gear. They've got all this stuff. They've got a gun and a taser, and
Yeah,
they've
like
got.
Batman.
They look like Batman. Yeah. They look like Batman, like the new Batman. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was commonplace, that kind of uniform in the US.
Oh, it's everybody now. They all wear it. They all wear like full on.
Well, that's again, like there's been a lot of drama, you know, all the resistance stuff, like all the Black Lives Matter stuff was you know, hard to police, and that brought out the defund the policing. And they probably, I know that like in some parts that where there used to be police would visit and help and assisting preventing crimes and things like that, now there's certain places where they just don't have the power. Like they don't have enough people on the force to keep those areas as safe, and it seems like there's just a lack of like, I don't know.
It's interesting. I don't think that it's like we're safe without the cops. The cops are supposed to be like have a presence. Like it's okay to me with there's a cop car. And in Miami, actually, a lot because it's so hot, a lot of them are wearing like breathable stuff, so they don't look like super soldiers,
Yeah.
and they're way more approachable, way more. I think it's very scary to me that cops dress like they do today. Like,
Yeah.
It's like that. You ever see or hear about the experiment, the movie,
oh
the
yeah,
experiment,
the Stanford
the
experiment with
experiment? Know about that? I think I told you about it once.
the
They
prisoner
had
and the
exactly. They had a experiment where they got a bunch of random people that they dressed some up as prisoners and some up as the
like wardens.
the people working in the jail, and they played their role, and they were they played their role like quite violently because they had the suit and they looked inferior and they had to eat like this and they had to do this.
Yeah.
They had to listen to their commands and all this shit. And if they didn't, it would piss them off. It like became this whole ego trip that went way too far. And it's like would be a unethical experiment to carry out because of the results of that experiment. So it's probably similar. These dudes dress up like Batman and then they
think they're Batman.
But not just to the bad guys, but sometimes it's like they just taking any opportunity to exercise their power. Like today, when actually no, this isn't a law being broken. What have you got to do with this situation? Why are you here? You're like, there's no law being broken. What are you telling me to do things for?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think most is like for intimidation. Like we in Carnival, we went to São Paulo and there was like a street party. The street was closed and it was us dancing in the middle of the street and this big truck with the music, and there were so many cops with huge guns and dressed like soldiers. Like for what? With just our dancing, like
that's crazy.
Why?
That's my biggest problem is like if there's a paramilitary part of the police, like the SWAT team or whatever, when shit goes really down and you need them, fine, whatever. But like this, but like walking around like that, like in the normal day, and here's what I think when you say about the power. Like I think, well, first of all, they don't like the letters on my shirt. That's clear, right? They don't like my chicken truck. They don't like anything of what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
And
disturbing the peace. There's enough problems out there, and then you come with all these birds screaming to death.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is intense, dude.
Yeah, they
it's
don't
not
like
necessarily
that.
breaking the law, but please go to another town.
Yeah, they don't want it. But the thing is, they assume like because 90% of their time that they talk to people, the people they're talking to don't know their rights. I do know my rights because I'm full-time at this. And so when I start talking about the First Amendment and like they don't like that shit either, but they'll back down. I've backed down lots of cops, but
yeah, really.
But this was the situation. Like I backed down because I didn't want to look like an asshole in front of the person I was outreaching.
Yeah, you're already like fighting a system, and then you're going to be like, and also, what are you talking about? You don't tell me what to do and shit. Like, this guy's hard, man.
I'm sitting here talking about like peace and compassion towards animals, and then I'm going to go spit in the face of an officer right in front of this guy. Like I'm not.
Like maybe I'll just keep abusing animals. I thought stopping abusing animals was good for a second there, but now, nah.
Now that I met that crazy vegan who took on that cop, it's funny.
It's man, I hear where you come from. You made the choice you thought was good.
It was. I had been there. And that's the other thing because I always want to stay in one place for at least 1 hour. And so if I'm already there for an hour and the cops bother me, I'll be like, "Yeah, right, no problem, officer.
Maybe tomorrow." But yeah, you're going anyway.
I'm leaving anyway. Terry Regan, I wondered about whether or not people should call. In America, we sometimes call the cops pigs, and sometimes I still do it by accident. I try not to. Did I say that? Did I call him a pig?
I think so.
Did I? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Well, yeah, it's look,
it's
man,
just part of the vocabulary.
Yeah, it's kind of got two meanings, but also I think it does stem from actual pigs. But like, at least you're not, it's a word. I get where people come from with this argument. You're not actually stabbing any pigs. You're not actually hurting any
No,
pigs.
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I really
don't know
think
it.
this is going to be the thing that like really matters, calling cops pigs, because even you, like you've been vegan over 20 years, you can still call a cop a pig. But when it comes to actual pigs, you don't think it's okay to hang them upside down and cut their heads off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I don't. Yeah. Oh, someone says I didn't. I don't think I call. I do sometimes do it, and I don't
No, I
like.
think you did, bro. Yeah.
I did. All right.
I
Well,
thought I heard it, but I wasn't 100. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's interesting to consider that changing language that is not right. It's not right to compare a pig to a cop. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Leave the pigs alone.
Leave the pigs
they are
alone.
wonderful.
It's an insult
They
to
are
the pig.
wonderful animals.
Totally. Comparing people to animals is always a problem. I shouldn't have. If I said it, I
Yeah.
shouldn't have done it. I'm terribly sorry to all the pigs and to all the people who are offended. But yeah, I don't. I try. It's something that I'm trying to adjust. Yeah, I'm trying to stop it.
I don't think any pigs really getting hurt by doing it, so I wouldn't personally bother.
You're right. You're
much.
right.
Yeah.
But what do you call the cops? Is there a bad word for cops? Police.
I don't know. What do we call them?
Call them the bronze,
No.
like in Mad Max. They're like bronze. The bronze.
No, I don't know what we call them. We just call them the cops, bro.
Really? You don't have any bad words for cops, like the filth, the fuzz?
No, I don't think so. Not that I can think of. Not for my crew, no.
What about in Brazil?
Yeah,
I don't know. I call them policia.
Police officers.
We call bad word for them?
Huh?
And there's no bad word for them?
I don't know.
No.
Wow, in America, we call them lots of words. We call them the bulls. The bulls. Yeah, I'm gonna call the bulls. I'll call the bulls. Yeah, it's kind of older. You don't hear that one very much, but in Germany they still call them bulls. Pigs, the filth, fuzz, 5-0.
5-0, yeah, they're just calling them that.
Yeah,
I mean, we probably call them pigs.
Yeah,
like in Australia from I guess just from American culture.
I thought that Australians called them the bronze because in Mad Max that's what they call them.
Okay, yeah, no, not that I've ever heard.
Maybe that was just.
We're just like they're here. Run!
Yeah, they're here. No one asks who. They're here.
Okay.
They.
Yeah.
Yeah, the they is it. Well, that was a fun Scooby of Sex in the City in San Marcos. Atlan was vegan. I don't know what that means. Vegan winter, man. Vegan winter's into some strange beat poetry. I like it. All right, Old Bill. Old Bill in England they call him Old Bill. I like it.
Yeah, they've got that show, The Bill. You ever seen that? Very popular in the UK. It's just all about like cop life. Pretty old, but it went for many years. It's good. I watched quite a bit of it. The Bill. I think it's called that. Yeah. Porcos Policia.
No, I don't know. Yeah, it does perpetrate negative views if I use the victimized group as an insult and continue to oppress them. Suba Duba, I'm trying. I'm on a journey.
Journey.
I'm on a journey. I'm trying hard to stop. And so thank you. I appreciate everyone being on the journey.
We support you.
Thank you.
Baby steps.
Yes. I had my other quiz was about American something too American. I don't think it's good for you guys, so I think that's the show. Normally we do an animal quiz, but it's about the theme was because the theme was pit bulls, and you guys don't even have pit bulls.
I don't know nothing about pit bulls.
Yeah,
I just know you should slaughter them.
They fight them.
Oh, that's what they use for the fights. Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. The dog fights. They use them in dog fights, and they're killed. Like no one knows the number of dogs that are killed in dog fights, but it's really nasty business. And
that's crazy. Yeah, that's the stuff we don't even, I don't give a lot of consideration to because there's so much slaughter just for food. Like we obviously all of us mostly focus on that, and that makes sense. But let's say lab meat took over. Dog fighting's still going to be a thing. Like all this shit that we haven't even begun to start thinking about yet there's going to still like so much to do.
Yeah.
Horse racing, dog fighting,
Yeah.
bullfighting.
But
There's
like dog fighting's underground, so I'm just sort of thinking more like the underground shit that we don't really. Bullfighting is legal. I guess dog fighting is probably legal in some places
Monkey
too.
prostitution.
Yeah, shit like that, you know. Just
yeah.
crazy.
Well, the cockfighting is still legal some places.
Really?
Cockfighting, like roosters.
Yeah. I went to one in Indonesia once, like way before I was vegan.
It's fucking brutal.
People just betting on it, and they're just lining like birds up to fucking with razor blades on their feet to fight each other and shit.
Yeah, they put razor blades on their feet. How wild is that? And like with the dogs, they use something recently happened where some sheriff department came to PETA and they're like, we found all these dogs, and they found like it was a number of like over 100 dogs, and they call them bait dogs, where they'll use them to train the other dog, the dog that's going to be in the fight.
Wow.
They'll train them on smaller dogs that are never going to fight. They weren't born strong enough, you know, so they'll teach this dog to kill the smaller animal to train them to fight. And that's I mean, how do you train a dog
press
to
the
fight?
Button.
Yeah,
Maybe.
press the button.
I promise I wouldn't talk about pressing the button today, but
shut up.
Fuck it.
Let me say
Press
something.
that shit.
No red button.
Virtual reality will fix some of these things, you know, like instead of dog fighting real, you see a dog fight virtual, and you don't have to abuse dogs. Here's a tip for all the dog fighters out there.
All the dog fighters.
Dog fight, please.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's an upgrade.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful idea. I know that it's funny because when I was in Vegas, there's no horse track in Vegas, but we have a lot of betting on horses in Vegas. But there's a machine that has these horses go around in a circle, and everyone can look down and put money in, and it's a machine, and the horses run around the circle. People would be they go crazy around this machine, like screaming and yelling and hollering. They love it, but it's just a metal horse going around in a circle. And so you bet on your horse, and the people are like yelling and screaming. And like, why the hell are we using real horses? Like we have this. This is clearly entertaining for these people.
Yeah, it's enough. Like,
it's enough.
This way, no one like sprains their ankle and gets a shotgun to their head.
Yeah.
This way we don't have to keep hundreds of horses as blood donors for these other horses. Like it's wild. It's wild. Yeah.
Up, bro. There's so much fucked up shit going on in this
It's
world.
crazy. It's a whole system to sustain something so ridiculously unnecessary.
Yeah, think about this whole. There's a whole economy built around it to try to keep them going. Yeah, push the red button. I mean, I don't push the red button. I don't push the red button.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't.
Does Nikki push the red button?
No.
don't
But
push the red
lately, I've been very like, you know, maybe I should press the button.
I'll keep convincing her.
You're still wearing her down on the. You're like Ren and Stimpy. Do you guys ever see Ren and Stimpy?
I used to watch it. Yeah, you see that?
What
one?
is it?
It's a little bit like Adventure Time, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like an old school cartoon. It's silly. It's kind of gross. It's like one of the first cartoons, burps and farts and shit like that. Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
What about it?
Well, there's a part where they have to. He wants to push the red button. You know, Stimpy pushes the button. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember that one.
Okay.
Vaguely, I do remember something actually, but yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's only 15 seconds.
I'll look it up, bro. I'll show you what you're talking about later.
You don't have to, because here it is.
Hell yeah.
It's 15 seconds.
He withstand the temptation to push the button that even now beckons him ever closer. He succumbed to the maddening urge to eradicate history at the mere push of a single button.
Push! Unsatisfying.
Yeah.
That was push the button. There you go. I that was the history eraser button. If he pushes it, it erases all of history. So similar to your button.
Oh, that's what it's called. Yeah. All of history.
You idiot, Stimpy, you idiot. Yeah, so I mean, I don't push the red button. Do people I think most people want to push the red button. I think I'm in the minority, Jim.
Why
I
wouldn't
don't want
you?
to. I don't want to push the red button, but I feel like the amount of good out there is far outweighed by the amount of suffering. Far outweighed. And I don't see that changing overnight or anytime soon. And I just don't think, I love life so much. I'm so happy every day. Like even through all my shit that I've been through, I really do love life a lot. But I've also suffered a lot, and you know, I know what suffering is like on some level. I know it can get way worse than what I've been through, but that's enough for me to be like, nah, get rid of it.
Well, okay, so the red
Corrupted
button is,
program, big time.
the famous red button is to end all sentient life, right? All those who can suffer, gone.
Yeah.
And Nikki's saying no way.
She's like, maybe.
Yeah, like
I'm like,
I don't feel it's like my place to end other people's lives, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's not my place to end all of it. They're all gonna be gone. I don't want to like who. What about the chance? And you're right. Maybe, Schopenhauer said that the suffering far outweighs joy, but there's joy.
and it's good, but suffering sucks. Being happy is cool. Suffering is hell.
But doesn't the happy doesn't it taste all that much sweeter because of the bitterness of the suffering?
It does. It is. But still, some will never even taste it. They'll just suffer a lot. So many of them. Way more than the ones that are enjoying the sweet taste of joy, I think. I think that far outweighs it. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. And overall, it's just like too much hell here. Overall, I see this as Planet Slaughterhouse. Like, I see a hell on earth, basically. I don't see a heaven on earth with a few beings in hell. I see the other way around. And, and even if that changed, like, and the whole world was vegan, everybody was vegan. And yeah, maybe I'd feel differently if trillions of earthlings each year weren't being slaughtered for 8 billion earthlings. You know? So yeah, it's very possible that would change. But as things are right now, I mean, I don't know. And also, I'm kind of talking shit. Like, I don't know if I'd fucking press the button if it was here.
Probably not.
But don't fucking try me, because maybe. You get me on the right day, I'll push that thing.
You be shaking like sweat. You sweating?
Yeah, probably. Like, damn it happened with the buttons here. Fuck, I always said I'd push this shit.
I like humanity. I think humanity every once in a while pulls off some zingers, man. Every once in a while, humanity does some crazy shit. They give us Shakespeare. They give us coffee. They give us incredible things. Like I put Shakespeare in coffee. Dogfighting. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's some bad stuff too, but damn, like I don't want to throw away the good for the bad.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
You know? What about just
bad, dude? The bad is so bad. Like, let me ask you, Sky, have you ever really suffered physically quite bad for an extended period of time?
It's always treacherous to compare suffering, so I don't want to compare it
in
to
your own
anything.
experience. Just how you would describe it. It doesn't have to be a competition to anybody else's. But
yeah,
a lot of people haven't been through a time like I don't think you have, where physical pain, that was like quite torturous. You haven't really experienced for an extended period of time.
I had it once or twice. I had to go to the hospital because of like cramps and
Okay, yeah.
But that's all.
For a couple of days.
Yeah.
And
I grew up with debilitating asthma. I had asthma that was very, very bad. It was very horrible growing up. I came close to death many, many times. I spent lots of times in the hospital, constantly medicated. And funny enough, like it did get better over time because of medication kept getting better. Medication would get better so I could do more and more and have more and more normal life. And then when I went vegan, guess what? That's like my big health reveal. Like my asthma went away. I've never been to the hospital since. Like I still have it, and every once in a while, I think people might be able to hear it when I breathe. Every once in a while, someone can hear it. But I haven't been medicated or hospitalized since
That's
going.
awesome.
Yeah,
cool,
so
bro. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a big thing. So I think that
it sounds like you suffered. Sounds like you have been. You've had your fair share of suffering.
I think so. I think I got a healthy dose.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I guess like mine's pretty recent, and and I know I'm also considering that as torturous as it was for as long as it was, it was just a taste. Like you say, some of these videos of these animals who are like, you know, they just have these huge tumors or wounds festering while they're in this hellhole, you know, constantly in this state of major stress and fear and pain, and other animals stressing them out and like in this cage where they're going crazy and they've seen all this violence. And, you know, just as an example, this is also one example. There's worse. I don't know if you saw, it was Joey's expose. One of the worst abused animals, or like the most suffering animals I've seen for a long while, I guess, was on his expose of the turkeys around Christmas time. There was one bird there that was just like jaw dropping, like, oh my god, that is, wow,
blows your hair back.
Yeah, and that, like, you put that next to being really happy and laughing a lot, you know, like that's fucking nowhere near in my book. That cool, happiness is good, and I give it a +5, and suffering like that is -10 billion.
Yeah, and also, and you want to end with all the people causing bad in the world, you know, like I really just want them to disappear.
Yeah,
you want all the bad ones to disappear, and I could get that. Like, I guess because sometimes we're stuck in that utilitarian calculus between suffering and joy. I don't think that is always a healthy way of looking at the world. Just like, okay, well, suffering versus joy, is there more suffering than joy? And I don't know that always works out. I know that that's one of the tools we use in our tool belt, but I don't know. Looking at the entirety of the planet and existence with that calculus, I don't think works out. Like pushing the red button because there's more suffering than more pain and suffering than joy and love.
Yeah. You think that like people's experience of joy and love is more priority than someone's experience of major suffering?
I don't know that I am qualified to place priority on one over the other. I think in the affairs of humans, when I'm thinking about like the way our laws work and building society, that's like we have to compare suffering and joy, right? That's something that we have to do. That's why our courthouses are built the way they are. That's why our laws are written the way they are. That's why people are punished with money and stuff, is because of these ideas. But the notion of existence is so much bigger and makes us, like, I think in our DMs, I'm like, well, it puts us on God level to say that humanity knows better than just life. And maybe there's certain things that, and maybe this is going to be a little poetic. Okay. So please just take it with a grain of salt. Don't call me out on this, but maybe just a little poetic, that I think that there's something rather beautiful that there are sentient beings able to behold the beauty of the universe. And why is the universe so goddamn beautiful? And would it cease being beautiful if we weren't here to see it? I see cows looking up at the stars. I've seen turtles bathing in the sun and seem to be enwrapped by the beauty of the world. There's something else going on that I just admire about life. I just admire it.
Yeah. When I think about the red button, I think about that too. There's so much beauty in this world.
And what, like, cool beauty, but torture and suffering. Like, fuck it.
It's a constant debate here.
I don't even feel like I really.
No, between me.
The only part that's the debate is, for me, is, well, because that does have value, what you're saying. So then the question is just like, could we really get to a point where just purely the equation would make more sense? You know, can we really grow to this point, and are we willing to wait and have all that torture and suffering in the meantime? You know, so yeah.
Well, I guess my main pushback is always going to be the same, and that when we rely too heavily on one form of philosophy, one school of philosophy, and we say, okay, it's going to be this measuring of joy versus suffering, we leave out so much other stuff, and there's so many other philosophical ways of thinking about this, that as human beings we could pick and choose, we can cobble it together, and we can make our own version of it.
Personal choice. I just don't think that any of those other philosophical ways of thinking about it, and maybe you can convince me. Like so far, all I've heard is but beauty though, and love though. And if that's all you
Love,
got, I'm
though.
still just like, yeah,
Love's
but
pretty
torture.
cool. Love's pretty cool.
I know. I'm into it. Don't get me wrong. I fight for, I fight out of a love for life. That's why I'm very passionate about protecting life. But yeah, man. I mean, it's not like we're ever going to have to concern ourselves with this button.
Well, but you yourself do it though, Nick, Jimmy, because you already do employ a few different philosophical thoughts. Like you, for example, to your credit, that you think of things like pain and suffering versus joy and love. And that's a utilitarian idea of hierarchical structures or threshold, whatever you want to call it. But you also look at things like inalienable rights, and that I've heard you talk a lot about the rights of animals, and that's totally different. That regardless of how much they suffer, they always have a right to be free and a right to live. That is something that's not utilitarian. That's something that's a little bit different. So you're already doing it. I'm just saying that there's so much out there, and you look at things like Christspiracy, the movie we've both seen now, thank God. And you see that people they're coming at it from different philosophies and arriving at the same conclusions that I think are fun. I don't think we just have to choose one. That's all.
No, the point is, like, we don't. It's just a kind of philosophical game. But I guess for me, it's the only real point of talking about it is just, again, to highlight how bad things are.
Yeah.
Like try to get some urgency across to people, try to get some severity. Yeah. People would understand the severity, the magnitude, because it's very hard when you just say 3 trillion. Everyone's like,
I think when you say that, you kill people's hope of a better future. You're like, everything is so fast. Let's just end everything.
End it all.
Get together.
Yeah, let's. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I know. So stop pressing the button.
So you don't like the button talk.
I mean, I get really far out there though, because I also don't think that sentience is everything. I mean, sentience isn't everything. Trees aren't sentient, but I still don't want to kill them for no reason. You know what I mean? It's not just sentience that I place value on. I place value on all things that want to live.
I don't think a tree wants to live though. I think to want would require a brain. So I don't really agree with that. Like, I don't have a lot of problem with farming trees. I don't think that's, as an example,
What about just killing them for fun? Just chopping them down for fun?
I only sentimentally, I would think, hey, don't do that. Trees are beautiful. But do I think that there's some sort of actual harm being done? No, not really. Like maybe you could argue, well, that's a bird's home or something, but just purely about killing a tree. No, I don't think so. I don't think I have a problem with that.
Killing trees.
Yeah.
I don't like killing them either.
I don't like it either. I don't fucking go around and do it, but I know we do.
Trees.
You can make an argument like
so
that.
Important.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Especially in the climate
oxygen.
Change we're living now.
Sure,
we really need trees.
If someone's gonna chop a tree down and it's not gonna like affect our
it
oxygen saturation,
always affects. To put why in the place of the tree? No, I don't like this.
There are things where like trees do affect microclimates and everything. You said
is it unethical to fucking pull
it
away from the tree?
Why destroy beauty if you don't have to? I mean, why do you even think they're beautiful? Why are trees beautiful? Why are they beautiful at all? And I think that they're beautiful because of the value that we imbue them with, and because we respect something about trees. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but god damn it, sometimes it seems pretty fucking magical. Sometimes I see trees and I'm like, holy shit, look at this fucker.
Every day, bro. Yeah, no, I'm with you on all of that. I just wouldn't say it would actually be unethical to chop down a tree, because I don't think someone cares about it. Tree fight. Yeah.
No, but I saw a post. I didn't check the information if it was accurate, but it looks like there's a new study about trees being sentient, and like they can recognize the color of your shirt.
Technical difficulties, Sky. We're gonna have to go and have a little chat.
They can see the color of your shirt.
With what eyes?
No, they can with their
what?
No, with their
photo sensors.
Their leaves.
I will show you this study.
I don't want to waste my
their leaves. Well, I mean, I think that it's pretty amazing that sometimes forests are all become one, or like some forests are all one organism, that it's not an individual tree. But I think that, like, the reason why the unethical part, I think it'd be unethical to kill a tree for needlessly. It's kind of like people will say it's unethical to kill an animal needlessly. That's one of the arguments that we use, right? Well, since I don't have to kill them for food, it's not right to kill them for food. You're not supposed to be doing things they want to live. It's not right to take that away from them for no reason.
Because animals want, but I don't think a tree wants. So if a tree doesn't care that they get cut down, why would I care about a tree getting cut down? Aside for sentimental reasons, I like it as
Environmental reasons.
Yeah, like you can make arguments like that, but we're just purely talking about is it wrong to cut through wood? Basically.
Yeah.
Trees do grow, and they do
they
like
grow.
light, and they like
respond,
sunshine, and they like water.
They're not a person.
They
don't like. You can't like if you don't have a brain. It's a
Oh no, I'm
of
saying
mind.
like between. I'm not saying that they're on the same status of
I know you're
animals.
not saying that, but you are saying that they do things. Like you're saying that they want and that they like, and I don't think they do either of those things.
Well, I mean, if you look at like this is getting fucking, but like natural law theory is like the idea between good and evil is the good is what contributes to someone's natural ends. Like a tree's natural end is to grow big and strong and reproduce. And so so what's good to a tree is sunlight and water. What's bad to a tree, I don't know, cutting it down in darkness, I guess. I don't know. But that would be the good and evil for a tree on a fundamental level. I'm not saying save all the trees, but god damn it, I do want to protect the trees. I like trees. And I think
we have to protect the trees.
Yeah, it's important.
My only thing is that the only point that I'm trying to make is that sentience isn't everything. Everyone's always talking about sentience as the only thing that gives anybody anything value. But I don't think so. Mountains have value, and so do trees. And I value them, and I think that everyone values them because.
Well, if you put a whole mountain compared, and like, let's just assume no animals live on the mountain. It's just an empty mountain, and you compare that to a dog's life. Get rid of the mountain. Like, fuck it. So the comparison.
You need to see like if it's going. What
What's
will
it gonna
happen when
That's
you
what I'm saying.
get rid of the
Assuming
mountain?
nothing. Like
But
assuming
look,
it's not
man,
gonna.
But
I guess you guys. Maybe we're
so
talking.
connected.
Maybe we're talking a little bit differently.
No,
I think
I
you guys.
understand you're focusing on like.
And you're talking about a bit broader,
Yeah.
like environmental.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like,
Because-
actually, this isn't someone who wants to live or who doesn't want to be
But
chopped
everything
down.
is so linked, When you start chopping trees, you start killing animals, and you start destroying the environment.
Whoa.
Yes,
Well, just because you're chopping a tree, you're gonna chop an animal's head
when
off.
you start chopping
Yeah.
trees like
Uh-huh.
mindlessly, like trees
I
don't
need
matter.
to burn, and I don't give a
Trees
shit
don't-
about trees. I'd rather get
You're
fire.
gonna chop the tree. You plant another tree. This should be the
That's
yeah.
fair, but
Yeah.
not necessary. I
basic
wouldn't say.
ecology. But what about? I love the mountain idea because we do have examples where mountains have been completely removed because of strip mining, where they want the minerals in the mountain, and so they just take away the mountain. The mountain's gone now, and that mountain's never coming back. And people, you could. I've never heard someone who looked at that and went like, "Oh yeah,
More
that was a
beautiful
good
now."
idea." Yeah,
Yeah,
Way to go.
but maybe the people who were getting the precious minerals to do whatever that was maybe very important. Yeah, probably. Usually it is. I'm playing devil's advocate big time here, but
Yeah.
I like to look at nature. I like that, but yeah, I guess when we're talking, you're saying sentience isn't everything, and it's not. But by far, I think it's the thing that it gives major worth compared to a beautiful scene that we have a sentimental value to because it looks pretty.
Yeah, I think that sentience definitely is that thing that separates us, like the animals, from other parts of nature. And it's easy to point out. It's a great way to go like, okay, well, since they have the capacity to suffer, it would be wrong to cause them suffering. And maybe what a tree experiences is very, very different. And since Darwin has been thinking about these ideas, right? Like the idea they don't have the flight reflex and the pain receptors and all the shit that the animals have.
Brain, anything.
They don't have a brain. They don't have a central nervous system.
Experience, except for a very shallow level of just we can view a tree growing. But
yeah,
but I mean, sorry, go ahead.
what you're calling a sentimentality, I would say is more like life values these things, and there's something bigger than just like this calculus between suffering and joy. And I do value other things in the world, and I want them to keep going on. You know, the last person on Earth, if there was a button, like there's this other hypothetical that people use that
More
I really
buttons.
it's another button. So the last person on Earth, there's no one left.
Yeah.
And all of the sentient life is gone. Everyone's gone. It's just one human being is the last sentient being on Earth. Would it be a sin for him to press the button and destroy the planet?
There's no sentience at all. Would it be a sin? Nah, I really like.
Why would he do
I
it?
mean, I would.
Why would you
To
do
say
it?
yes, I would have to have some reason to think I was committing something wrong. Like if there's never going to be sentient life again, so there's really nothing. It's just plants growing. Like I don't actually think that matters very much.
Just-
No,
Yeah, I like plants.
what would
I
be
think
just
plants
plants
would-
on Earth. I don't
Yes,
know. I don't think they care
forest
about
planet.
living or not. I don't think they have the capacity to care. So if they don't even care, then I don't think it matters if we care. I think it's weird to care. Yeah, I think it's weird to make a big deal about something that doesn't even care itself.
Mm.
But I also think trees are beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
I love trees.
Love trees. I've been fucking
But it's
admiring
not
them
wrong
just
to kill all of them.
wrong, then you have to show me the rule that says like this is wrong. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there's some objective law, so it's subjective. And in that experience, for me, no, like because what does it really matter? Like tell me where the harm is done. You know? Yeah, a world's gone, but no one lost their house, no one suffered, no one missed out on anything. You know, I don't know. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, no one missed out on anything, but except for the trees, right? Are
Right,
they
people.
in the absence of people? Can trees be ends in and of themselves instead of means to our ends?
Okay, so maybe on a very low level, but I think probably, I don't think they're ever going to become sentient. So they're not even conscious. They're just these things growing in the sun. I don't see a lot of value in that.
What about mushrooms that take you to another dimension?
What about?
Is it okay to?
It's mandatory. It's absolutely vital.
What do you think about them?
I think they're fucking awesome. That's why I wanted you to paint that one yesterday.
It was your idea to do the mushroom, huh?
Well,
Of course.
No, you painted the first mushroom.
No, I painted one. He's like, I want one.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so she's making a big one for me.
It'll be Nikki's
Yeah.
Nikki's mushroom shop. It'll be all over the. All right, that's the next Jimmy Cashby enterprise is the mushroom paintings of Nikki. It'll be on
Hell
stickers.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there
Like,
we go.
Let's get these mushroom paintings out into the world.
It's the next part. It's the next part of your journey.
Hell yeah.
All right, it's your.
Cool, man.
Well, that's our show. I appreciate you guys staying so long. I just enjoy talking to both of you so much. So I appreciate you hanging out with me.
That's cool. Yeah.
This has been this is Sunday School, everybody. Thank you for joining me, and thank you to our moderators and everybody else who are hanging out. I think this is it. This is the end. We're gonna play the theme song. Yeah, I'm gonna play the
song.
We'll play the theme song by Kirsten Marilyn, our theme song, and you'll see me deface a Gideon's Bible in the sorry. Also, thank you to Jackie Boyle, thank you to Wolf, and thank you to Benji.
Thanks,
Thank you.
legends, and thanks everyone in the
Thanks,
chat.
everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll talk to you soon, Sky. Like we'll jump off now, but I'll catch up in DMs or whatever sometime soon.
That sounds amazing. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Vegan Sunday School. Ooh, this channel's just for you.
This channel's just for
This channel's just for vegans.
I want to say thank you once again to everyone who's a channel member or a protein-packed Patreon subscriber. If you're a protein-packed Patreon subscriber, I uploaded a new drone thing. I did a dronism when I was doing the veganism over at the Pensacola Palafox Pier. Pensacola Palafox Pier is where I was doing my veganism, and I put some drone footage on there for you if you're a drone fan and you want to see what Jackdaw 3000 was up to this time around. Yeah, there's a difference between complete annihilation by like a nuclear weapon or something had a gradual voluntary extension by procreation. I guess. Just miss you, Tyke269. Sorry you missed us. We had Jimmy Caspi and Nikki on. It was awesome. Yeah. Did procreation, where all joy and experiences come from, I think, is a balance depending on circumstances. Subadubu. Well, it was a wonderful time talking with all of you about all of these. We call it batting at the fences, talking about some philosophical, fun stuff and chilling. You know, let's just chill. It was a fun, chill adventure, hanging out on Sunday school. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Illegitimate non-carborundum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And I'll see you tomorrow. I need you. And the aminals need you. And we need each other. Thanks, VFFs.